Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Matt Chapman goes to San Francisco and Wheeler is staying in Philly. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Thank you very much for tuning in today on this fine Monday morning. We just got some news that Wheeler is staying with Philly. Chapman going to San Francisco. Found that out over the weekend. Very excited to have some news to discuss. My name's Jimmy. Jake sitting next to me. Trevor with the glove on in California. BBD producing behind the dish. Trev, excited to see you soon this week. Excited we have some stuff to talk about. What are you excited about?
Yeah, we got some news. I'm excited to see you. I do want to mention that the best thing I saw all weekend, and I passed the phone around a little bit, was Baby James putting on your old Yankees jacket. Come on, man.
That was cool. Yeah. I didn't know he could put on his jacket by himself, but he can.
He's got some flair to that jacket style. And
Yeah.
then, the vintage look, he killed it, bro.
Not bad.
He's a very cute baby, so congratulations. But if you haven't seen that, go check out Jimmy's Instagram. Is that a story or is that living on the grid?
No, I think that was a post. We also, just to take it from Jake first, went to the park, brought the tee and the bat, and played ball in the park for the first time, not just in the basement or the backyard. And I was looking around at Katie. I was like, this is very cool. And then this kid came up, and I'll show you this because it was wild. Because he's 2 and shouldn't be doing this. And they played ball together, and he was pitching to the kid, and the kid was hitting.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Yeah. Not wild.
That's awesome.
Kid kind of took him up top.
Yeah. Kid was good.
Yeah.
He's
Welcome to the game.
He was 7. James was 2.
Welcome to the game.
Fucking many times you'll feel deflated on a baseball field, Baby James. Many times.
Looked like Joe's McFly going up against Trevor Plouffe last night in the Warehouse Games channel.
Ooh.
Line drive doubles. Baby James, I'm clearly a supporter. Kind of one-upping you, Trev, for all the YouTube listeners. I mean, come on. And yeah, big week. And how about it? Your guy, Matty Chap. I know you got the inside on some of that. I'm hoping at the end of this you're going to reveal who you saw at dinner this weekend. But we got some baseball news and the calendar. Do you know what the calendar says, Trev?
March 4th.
Baseball.
Oh.
Baseball.
You got me.
We're about 2 weeks out from the Korea games. We're about 3 weeks. It's happening. Jeff passing. So I'm excited to talk about it. And a lot of seats at those games, Jim.
Tons of seats. And if
Thousands
you
of
want
seats.
some seats, code Talkin is going to get you $20 off your first order. Use the app or the website. All the good stuff.
Got a link in the description. Shout out to our guy, Justin Pennick. He did a SeatGeek. And the editors deserve the love on that one. Because, Pennick put his best foot forward. But, it's almost like a real mockumentary, SNL level quality commercial. And SeatGeek let us run with that. So make sure you guys are going to SeatGeek. Download the app. Get some seats. Go see some ball.
Ball.
Our ad reads on the Blitzball
Different.
Battle 4 tourney are worth the view as is, without even the game. If you just click on it just for the ads, I think you'll be happy, but watch the game too.
They are really funny. Okay, let's get right into it. Chappie, as soon as our San Francisco Giants team profile and projection is recorded and posted, we get the update that Matt Chapman has signed with the Giants. It's the new Boris special. Same situation Bellinger found himself in. A deal with a ton of opt-outs. And this one's even a little more confusing because there's buyouts for every year to guarantee more than the base salary. So the way it reads that I like is the right here, the first year it's going to be 1 year for $20 million. Now technically it's $17 million and then a buyout at the end. Or it can He can be there for 2 years and he'd get $38 million. Or he could be there for 3 years and get $54 million. Or he could be there for 4 years and get $73 million. There's opt-outs after year 1 for Chapman and year 2 for Chapman, and then a mutual option for year 3. Usually mutual options don't happen. So if you want to kind of like, it can happen. I'm not saying it won't, but usually they don't. Both parties are both, one of them's like, nah. So if you look at it that way, you can say in all likelihood, this is a 2-year deal for $38 million.
I'd say it's 1. I mean, it depends on the year he has, right? Like, I think that's what it's all about here. Boris is trying to set him up and give him the most options, whatever leverage is left. What I'm curious about is, a lot of people will say, oh, the qualifying offer is affecting guys, and it does. There's no doubt about it. The teams look at that and say, okay, we got to give up a 2nd-round pick, plus we got to give up some international slot money, which I believe the Giants had to give up a 2nd-round pick, right? 51st overall or something like that. $500,000 in international bonus pool money. That didn't shy him off from essentially for 1 year. So I don't think the qualifying offer was necessarily a factor, as obviously not for the Giants, but for other teams as well. And that's kind of like the biggest thing. Like if he goes out this year, has a great year, next year he can go back into the free agent class without a qualifying offer pick attached. But I don't know how much that actually affected him this year, and how much of this free agent kind of high-end free agent freeze, we're going to call it, I don't know. Is this like all TV deal manufactured? Is this all like what's going on? I don't think we've gotten to the bottom of it just yet. I know he didn't come off like the greatest platform year, but this is a guy that's going to give you like 4 WAR a year. And like there are signs that his offense could, regress back to the mean and be even better this year, like some of the hard hit stuff with him. So it's been a very strange year for free agents. And for Chappie, he's happy. I did talk to him and I texted him, congrats. Like it's real money what you're getting here. He's excited about being back with Bowmel. He really enjoys playing for him. And, like it's going to be, he's on a good team, which is nice. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say like he's had some chances to secure some more money, whether it was from the A's. There's rumors that the A's had offered him an extension. There was rumors that the Toronto Blue Jays have offered him an extension. Took himself to free agency, and it just, he's happy, but I know that money-wise and contract-wise, this is probably not exactly where he thought he was going to be, especially, Jake, after that April that he had to start 2023.
Right, that's kind of what we're going off of. We heard the rumors Toronto try to throw, I think 5 years, $100 million at him, and then he comes out contract year, player of the month in April, and it's like, oh boy, if Matty Chapman does this for a season. Trev, you've always said it, and it's not a bullshit thing. It's not because he took your job in Oakland and you consider him a friend, but like if this guy puts it together on offense for a full season with the way he can play defense, like it's all going to be there. The WAR is going to be there. The problem is his most impressive offensive seasons are now in the first half of his career. And that 2019 does stand out a little bit, and there's a lot of guys in baseball that their 2019 stands out a little bit. So the thing that's interesting, his numbers offensively still end up being positive compared to the league. He's never had below an 100 OPS plus, but his last 3 seasons, a 108 OPS plus, 226 batting average, 743 OPS, that if we're being honest, what he's projected to do is kind of lower than his career numbers and lower than the first half of his Oakland career. So him, like Belly, a little different than Snell. Snell's still bizarre. These guys had questions about their free agency. And yeah, it's, Baseball Reference that doesn't have a dog in the fight / it's just an algorithm that comes up with these guys' projected seasons. They project Matt Chapman to be 233, 326 to 753 OPS, which, hey, that's a nice ball player. And he's going to give you all-world defense at third base. So the contract kind of lands around there. For Matt Chapman, he's saying, hey, I've still got a 2019, 2018 season in me. And if he does it in one of the next 2 years, go re-up in free agency, find another landing spot. And that's where it's kind of good on the Giants for giving him this contract. Because like you meant, the pick compensation is what it is, the 51st pick in the draft. Like, you can go through drafts and you'll find talented guys that get drafted in that area. So if he has one really strong year, 5-6 WAR, opts out, that's going to be a little tough for the San Francisco Giants, but they'd also have gotten a year of good value at Matt Chapman at that price, and he won't have the qualifying offer. So I don't know. If you're Matt Chapman, you're a little shrug because you've seen contracts offered to you that were 9 figures, but you still have a chance, and you're landing in a decent situation for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming up 2 tough years. Like last year, I mean, third base is a position where you want some pop, right? And I think he was like, I'm looking at it now in Fangraphs. As far as third baseman and slugging goes, he was pretty down there, 15th, 16th. Yeah. So yeah, he needs a good year, but I don't know next year with Bregman being the leader. He was like the leader of third baseman this year. And in some way, the Giants didn't even match the qualifying offer, because if he doesn't opt out, then he's got $18 million for year 1, and that's $2 million less than he would have got if he just took the qualifying offer, which seems to be a big point of the Giants here, and a big point why Boris probably was like, I need the buyout, so if he does opt out, I didn't earn him less than the qualifying offer. Because if he was to opt out and get $18 million for 1 year, Boris literally got him a worse deal than the qualifying offer, which is 1 year 20. He would get him 1 year 18. So Boris is like, I got to save my own ass here and add $2 million on the buyout, so at least I match it if he opts out. But in theory, if he doesn't, he got less than the qualifying offer. So I don't know if it's a misreading of the market. It's really untimely last 2 seasons. But with Bregman leading next year, if he reaches free agency, I don't know. He's going to have to put up crazy numbers to opt out and get this, unless he wants a longer deal. So I don't know. It's an interesting one for me.
Yeah, look, the offense he needs to pick up. Like, the guy is as strong could be. Like, the power potential is there. Like, he's cranked like upper 20s homers a couple different times. Like I mentioned before, the hard contact rate is there as well. So like, things can line up for him, and he's isn't giving. I mean, I watch him play, and I think this guy's an incredible third baseman still. Like, some of the defensive metrics have not, like, he's not bad at them, but they've gone down a little bit, which you kind of expect with age. But like, when you just watch him play, like, the guy can play third base like with the best of them. Like, at some points in his career, he was the best infielder defensively, like platinum glove. Like, this is the guy, and when you can plug that in, that helps your pitching staff out. It helps everything out. Watching this guy go to work helps all your other infielders out. But it's the offense for me that, yeah, he's got to go out there. He just needs to figure out a way to stay consistent. And I think the numbers will be there. I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious about like the TV deals. I think that is really, really slowed down the market, or at least given all these teams an excuse if they wanted to. Like, hey, we're going to cut payroll because of this. And once those get figured out, which I don't know necessarily that they are, and I don't know how far we want to go down into that, but like the Diamondbacks now are offering direct to consumer. It's like $100 and you can just watch all their games. And if that's the future, then like the TV deals are going to be not as fruitful to these teams. And what does that mean for like the rest of free agency going forward?
Well, yeah, it's a different conversation. But if they do go that route, the ceiling is higher, but they need to promote the sport.
I mean,
Netflix.
These teams are getting like 40, 50, $60 million a year from these TV deals. I don't know if they're going to be able to reach that in each individual team's market. If you're offering for $100, what is the math on that, BBD?
Well, they're offering those deals because they got customers that pay for cable. which is a subscription, all the same.
What is that? What's 40 million divided by 100? I thought it can't. I should be able to do that math.
Trev, I think the TV deal stuff is interesting. I don't know how much it affected Matty's free agency. My Snakes, who you just referenced, they went out, they got Erod, they re-signed Lourdes. Like, if you take out his April where he was player of the month, which, hey, that's not super fair. Like, it's a 6-month season and he was the player of the month, so that shouldn't be thrown out. But from May 1st to the end of the season, 205, 298, 659 OPS. So to give that guy 20+ million for multiple years, it's tough. That's why I think a lot of front offices were looking around. And I do think it's going to be a great landing spot for him. I know it's not known as a hitter's park, and that's kind of the struggle. The front office came out and they said they profile his bat pretty good there. What else are they going to say? But, a lot of the fun tweets were like, hey, Matt Chapman with Logan Webb, like, you might see a Platty come his way again. Might see Logan Webb win a Cy. Like there's more to it. And I hope, the hard hit numbers are incredible. Like, he hits the ball as hard as anyone. And a full circle talking baseball moment, how about a Giants coaching staff? If they can tap into that just a little bit. And I hear what you're saying, Jim, about the Bregman free agency. He's going to be, probably the guy next year as long as he has a good year going into free agency, which we expect. But there can also be a piggyback effect. Like, thinking of all the shortstops in that one class, 2 years ago now? Say if Matt Chapman has a good year and boosts up the offensive profile a little bit and does his thing defensively. Now, if Bregman's out there and he's hunting 200 mil, you could have all these teams that are like, well, we could get Matt Chapman for that 100 mil next year or whatever. So just play good and the rest figures itself out. And if you're a Giants fan, there's a lot to like, and I do think it affects their outlook a little bit. I think it was my final thing on their TPP. I think them and the Padres are kind of battling for that third spot in the NL, and it's, do you like depth or do you like top-end talent? And with Matt Chapman, it just gives their offense another layer for something to click. With the opt-outs, Matt, have a good year in the next 2 years, and the rest will take care of itself.
I also wonder, were there just not a teams needing third baseman this year? Since he went out and got Candelario, Toronto got Justin Turner and IKF. So I don't know if they're going to I don't know what's going on there. And then who else? Urshela went to the Tigers. Is Joey Wendell getting a lot of run? So,
there's a lot of teams that probably needed a third baseman that weren't going out to spend money this offseason.
Yeah. Or they want Bregman next year, I'm sure,
I think the Giants had a really good offseason. If you really break down all the moves that they made and you're putting them as third place in the NOS, I think that they have a ceiling of maybe second place in the NOS if things all click. And, everybody is on the Diamondbacks bandwagon and they showed how and what they could do last year. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants and the D-backs were running the same record at some point this year. And we were talking about both these teams in the same light because they went out. They signed Jung-Hoo Lee, who's pretty good in spring training. He seems like he's going to help that offense a lot. See what kind of defense he plays in center. Soler, huge power threat there. You get Hicks, who knows what the heck's going to happen with him. Is he going to be a starter? Probably not. I've been telling all my Giants fans that he's going to be a reliever, dude. Let this guy do what he does well. You didn't sign him for starter money anyway. Anyways, then you trade for Robbie Ray. So and Matt Chapman. That's a pretty dang good offseason for a team that we're all kind of
and they're not done.
Away to the side a little bit, right?
Yeah, they're also not done. They want to sign another pitcher. Obviously, Boris has more guys out there. Also, Farhan came out and said that, JD Martinez is surplus now. And he said, we'll explore different things. It's certainly possible that a move or two happens before the end of camp. Not saying they're going to get a ton for 1 year of JD Davis, but they'll get something.
If you go get JD Davis, if you trade JD Davis, you still have Wilmer Flores there, who one of those guys was going to play third base before Chapman got in there, and now he's going to play third base. If you bring in JD Martinez, then both those guys are expendable. I don't know what that means for you and what you can get, but They're gonna have to make some decisions here before the season, I think.
Our walkier Yanks would like one of those guys.
What do you want?
I don't know, but Yankees are on the J.D. Davis potential list because they were in on Kike.
Yeah, Pop and plays first and third.
Yeah.
Defense. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who else the Giants make the deal with, Trev. And you can be making
my favorite show,
the deal with Bloomberg's The Deal, co-hosted by Yankees legend Alex Rodriguez. I say Poppy. Every week, A-Rod and Bloomberg reporter Jason Kelly speak with big-time athletes, including Trev Sharapova, Jimmy Strahan, and Beebs' Derek Jeter. Number 2. Deal takes you behind the scenes and into the world of sports and media and entertainment. Wins, losses, and lessons learned along the way. From Bloomberg Podcasts and Bloomberg Originals, you can listen to The Deal on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Go check out what Rod's doing. He's always good for an unintentional laugh out of me. And God, he does love business. When A-Rod gets locked into business talk, he gets that kind of dog salivating, looking at a ball look going on. The question for me is, are they in on the 2 pitchers? Trevor raised his hand.
Whatever.
Okay.
I was going to say something about A-Rod, but
Okay.
we've moved on.
All right. Yes. Okay. They're in. They're in on those pitchers. They need to be.
I sure hope so.
If they sign Monte, are they your team, Jim?
No, not really. I still like them a lot, but I mean, my team for what, to be honest?
Logan Webb, Monte.
I like some of their guys.
If they would have kept Kai Correa on that coaching staff, then yes. Now he's with the Guardians with Stephen Vogt, which, by the way, if he starts looking like Stephen Vogt,
he will.
We're going to have to question Kai Correa and his motives.
I think he already did start looking like Stephen Vogt.
Like messy beard, a little bit rounder. Come on, Kai. Don't be getting away from those Pilates that you and Gabe used to do.
That guy _Kai on Twitter/X.
If they sign Snell or Monty, then they're fun. They're good. I still, the rotation still would. I don't know. I would still need to see what the other guys are.
Yeah, they just have to get through the beginning of the season. Hopefully, Ray comes back, Cobb comes back, and then there's a chance that we're looking at a potentially deep San Francisco Giants pitching staff. But to start the season, it's not necessarily that way. I mean, even if you put Kyle Harrison in the tier of he's going to do it, which a lot of people think he can, you still have some very young guys with very small amounts of experience, manning your rotation to start the year. And then you have some question marks coming back from guys from surgeries. So I do think that they need another one to really be to move themselves up a tier. How about that?
I agree. I am in agreement. I am doing one quick comparison here of players. Okay. Just offensive profile.
Okay.
And it is interesting that J.D. Davis and Wilmer Flores over the last 3 seasons have better offensive results than Chapman. I know the defense is special.
He got that glove, though.
Yeah, and they have ground ball pitchers, and the defense is special. But I don't know. I didn't expect the numbers to come out the way. Like Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer's been awesome. He's going to play.
Nuts.
Yeah, he's going to play, yeah. But even J.D. beats Chapman in almost every slash line the last 3 seasons. He's got a 419 slugging, and Chapman's got a 420. Chapman's got him stolen bases.
Think about years ago when we just eye tested defense. Now Chapman looks good eye test defense, but he wouldn't be getting paid the way he's getting paid now.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. It would just be, they base it off of your offensive statistics, and I'm like, he could play a little D. Okay. That didn't really matter.
Good.
I could spin that the other way. I feel like gold gloves and platinum gloves used to speak louder just because it's wow.
Well, they only gave gold gloves to guys that hit fucking homers.
Matt Chapman hits homers. Outslugged J.D. Davis the past couple years.
Got me.
That's true.
He did. 71 homers in the last 3 seasons for Chapman.
He's so good for the clubhouse, man.
Well, next up, the Phillies are just making their fan base happy. Which is why I like this Phillies team, man. I like the way they're going about it. They have a little Astros Braves to them. And I know they collected all these guys via free agency, so they're not homegrown like the Astros and Braves, which is much more.
Don't they feel homegrown though?
Cool. Yeah, they feel like this collection of players came and like built a home there because they're all not, even Wheeler, you know? Mm-hmm. So Wheeler signs an extension, huge extension, to be honest with you. It's the most AAV ever for an extension. He signed a 3-year, $126 million contract extension. There's no options in the deal. It's straightforward. $42 million AAV is the highest ever in a contract extension. It's the 4th highest in MLB behind Ohtani, DeGrom, and Verlander. He was expected to be the best free agent pitcher next year, so that landscape changes a little bit. And after this season, he gets his 10-5 rights, so there's no trade. He's got full no trade clause. And he's going to be entering the final season of his... Yeah, he signed 5 years, 118. Now he gets 3 years, 126. He just had his third baby, and he said they love it there and they want to stay.
Dude, when he signed that deal, coming from the Mets, people laughed at it. They were like, what is Philadelphia doing? I believe he was 30 years old, and people were like, it was all about the other guys at that time. It was, Strasburg's and, the other Mets pitchers and all these things going on. And they signed him to that deal. People were like, what's going on? And he has been an absolute juggernaut since that deal. And I do want to pat myself on the back because I remember looking at the numbers being like, they got him for that. And these have been his career numbers so far. It looks like a great deal. People were like, oh, he was walking too many guys and maybe he doesn't strike out enough hitters and all this stuff. He goes over to Philly and he's just been lights out since he's been over there. I mean, he's been a workhorse. The numbers have been good. He's pitched in massive games. He's become their ace. And you go into a place with Aaron Nola and you become the ace. Like, that's a pretty good thing for you to be doing. So that deal, that 5 years, 118, whatever it was, that's a steal, man. They've gotten all their money back there, and now they reward this guy, and there's no signs of him slowing down, like, whatsoever. And again, he does feel like and he has been there quite some time, but he feels like a Philly to me. Like, I don't consider him a Met. I consider this guy a Philly. So they've done a really nice job, James. You got to give credit to the ownership, Middleton. You got to give credit to Dombrowski, and I guess some of the guys that came before him. Klentak, does he have any fingerprints on this team anymore? I'm not really sure, but I love this for the Phillies, dude. I really do. They've all so much bought into the city, and I think, is that like a Bryce Harper thing? Like when Bryce came and he was like, I fucking love Philadelphia. I want to be there forever. It feels like they've all just bought into that, and like, if you're a Phillies fan, like, that's got to feel so freaking good, dude.
It's also, you get to the playoffs, you get that home crowd, you see what the support looks like there. Trey Turner gets his applause amongst having like a terrible slump. Like, credit the Phillies fans, I think this field goes out to the whole thing. Everyone's kind of playing their part and making something special. I hope they win a World Series. I hope it doesn't come at the fate of my Yankees losing one, but I hope they win one because I think it is cool what they've built. And yeah, I mean, Schwarber free agent, Turner free agent, Harper free agent, Castellanos free agent, Real Muto trade, Marsh trade. So it's none of them is homegrown, but it does feel like they got something cool going on.
You wonder, we talk a lot about, ownership, or we kind of go into coaches a little bit and coaching staffs and what does it really matter. This is an interesting case study because is it the guys? Was that a part of it? Is it the organization? Does it start at Middleton, the owner? Like I initially jumped to Harper too, but a lot of these guys were here before that, and it is funny. Like Aaron Nola very much wanted to stay at Philly. That was his whole free agent story. He's an LSU guy. Like, that's a very specific breed of people. Like our Kelsey Winger will be the first one to tell you, and he has made Philly his home. Schwarber kind of doesn't count to me. I think Kyle Schwarber feels like home kind of anywhere he goes. if he had signed with any city falls in love with Kyle Schwarber, so he's kind of out. Bryce Harper adopted Philly the most. We think about how much we've talked about opt-outs and no trade clause and stuff. Harper said, fuck it. Like, if you're in, I'm in. And he owns that every day. So there is something to him setting the tone with that. Trey Turner became Captain America right after he signed. So, all right, dude, you're good. Nick Castellanos, another guy that kind of makes anywhere home. The guy grew up one of the 3 Marlins fans in the world. In his free agency, they did not go out and get him. And now you go see, if you open MLB Instagram, it's him and his son not getting the bat after he hit the home run. That's pretty good.
Come on.
That's kind of,
Liam.
That's being a dad moment, Trev. I don't have to, I should tell you guys. Brandon Marsh just gross looking. I don't know where you draw the line of the city adopting them or winning makes everything so much better. But it feels like there's something in ownership, and probably the biggest thing in ownership is that they went out and they got all of these really good baseball players.
I think you can go back to Jake Arrieta, Reese Hoskins for setting the vibe in the clubhouse because, hey guys, I played for them.
What was that vibe with you and Arrieta again?
What's that?
You and Arrieta? What was the vibe?
Great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, our vibe was incredible together. A lot of fun. No, I'm just saying, like the vibe, the clubhouse was already there. Like the unity was there. JT Realmuto comes over, like he's an absolute stud there. Like they've got a collection of guys who, I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like you bring a bunch of guys together from different organizations, you don't know if it's going to mesh. But they have done it and done it like perfectly. These guys love each other. They love playing together. Like they're always hanging out. They're doing it. Yes, winning breeds some of that happiness. But I think they all really love playing together. And they've done different things. You mentioned like some of these guys branching out and going to do Team USA together. Like that creates a bond. Like they're like this is a very tight-knit group. And James, I agree, man. Like I haven't given my World Series prediction yet. Famously predicted one. My bad. The Phillies are high on my list of teams that I will pick or could pick to win the World Series this year. There just seems like they're going to get one in the Bryce Harper era. And fuck, man, like I don't know if there's a better year than this year for them to do that.
I agree. And it's nice for Wheeler. He's not going to free agency. Next year's free agent class for starting pitchers is pretty nice, which is why Jordan Montgomery isn't getting like that much attention right now. Snell's an odder situation. But yeah, I mean, next year you got Fried, Burns, even Walker Buehler, I think, is free agent next year. Shane Bieber's a free agent next year. John Means, if you believe in that guy and want a lefty.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Please.
Wheeler, I don't know if you read the stats off since joining the Phillies. 101 games started in the 4 years. 3.06 ERA, like 2.9 FIP, 9.7 Ks per 9. All great numbers. And remember, this is the Phillies. They don't play defense, bro. They bang. That's what they do. And to be able to put up those type of numbers too, like I think it's even more impressive.
Trevor, that's actually kind of an old narrative. The Phillies played a lot better defense last year, man.
I don't care. This guy's been there longer than last year, and we've seen them boot the ball around, okay?
It's true.
Want to know something crazy that I wouldn't have guessed? How similar Corbin Burns and Walker Buehler's career stats are. 106 starts each. Same amount of WAR, 13.5, 13.7. Similar innings, 700 to 640. 3.26 ERA for Burns, 3.02 ERA for Walker. Walker's got more injuries, but like he packed in a ton in the seasons he played. ERA plus 129 for Burns, 136 for Walker. I don't know. Just kind of brought that up to look at the next year's class. Didn't realize those two would be close.
Walker's a stud, dude. I can't wait to see him on the mound again.
Fun to watch when he's on.
It's gonna be
Fried's got them both beating everything, though. Fried's a fucking stud.
Just like we've talked about for months. You know, a lot of those guys year heading into free agency, it moves the needle a chunk.
And Max Fried's about to get fucking so much money,
yes.
dude.
What? He doesn't even know what to do with that much money, dude.
Take the Garrett Cole deal and then make it in like today's times. And that's what Max Fried's. He's a lefty and doing all that and has those numbers. Oh my God, that's fun.
And like the best person ever. Like, fuck.
Remember that guy that called in the voicemail? He was like, he's a Dodger.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Rocky. Everyone knows it. Having KB reuniting, not reuniting, but
hey, I'll do my Chris Rose impersonation for you guys. What does the Wheeler contract do for Blake Snell's situation right now? $42 million AAV. This is what Wheeler's agent is going and getting his guy with the team that he's already with. Does Snell turn to Boris and say, hey, go get me that? I'm Chris Rose.
Hey. Are the Yankees like considering this whatsoever? Because they're paying 110% tax on top. Like they're doubling plus the money. That's crazy.
I mean, I know some people don't like when we do too much Yankees talk, but
that's one of the teams they're talking to.
Maybe they're negotiating via the media a lot, and the Yankees are publicly saying that they don't want a short-term deal. Now, it just came out last night or today that the Phillies are currently in on a short-term deal for Snell. The Yankees are saying we don't want one. I think the Yankees are like, no, we want a long-term deal, like a 5-year deal at what we think he's worth. Kind of when you were gone, I was having the conversation about the Bellinger deal where I was saying I wonder if Bellinger got offered like a 5-year, whatever the number is, I'm blanking right now. That would be like kind of a less AAV, but hey, the lump sum is pretty decent. And I wonder if the Yankees are like, we want you to take that. That's what we think you're worth over 5 years, and we want you for 5 years, and we're not interested in these short term. And that's what they're publicly saying. I don't know if that's what they're actually doing. And then Boris and Heyman are negotiating via the media saying like, Snell's interested in Snores. Interested in a short-term deal. So I don't know. I think the Yankees are still in, or they're still very much being
Blake
used.
Snell, I'm sorry. If the Phillies sign Blake Snell, I'm going to pick them to win the World Series.
I think I am too.
I would probably do the same.
And then the day the Braves aren't the favorite, they win.
Little Wheeler pivot into Snell. Last year, his worst as a Philly. I know, like the FIP and everything's still lined up. But I don't know. It is funny to think that, he's turning 34 this year. He just had technically his worst season as a Philly, that they do lock him up to the extension. I mean, he's been, like you talked about, it's one of the best pitching free agent contracts we've ever seen. And I would love to know, because I think what's happening with Snell right now, if we're being completely honest, I think he's getting his ass lowballed to a gross degree. To like a gross degree and he kind of wants to go to the Yankees. I think he was hoping the Mariners would be involved. Dodgers seem like he's in a tight spot right now. That hey, maybe the injury happens this week, and that leads to the solution.
Worst season as a Philly is true, but then the context of like last year.
Right, but I'm just saying, think about what we talk about with free agency. Like, if he's getting older, age is a huge number when it comes to free agency. If Zack Wheeler...
But I'm just saying he got Cy Young votes last year. Like, the landscape of MLB, he was a top 10, top 5 pitcher in the National League, like, easily still.
Yeah, top 10 in the National League is more than fair. But, again, if he gets older, gets an injury this year, that would change the outlook of his free agency a decent amount. And what I was comparing it to Snell is... with what we've seen these Phillies been doing, I wonder if, like, it's open negotiation. Like, hey, not going to lowball you to try to get you to sign this. Like, what do you want, Zack Wheeler? Are you trying to get another 6-year contract? Because we might not be about that. You want to go 3 and pack it? Like, we're down. That's what I would love to know, because Blake Snell is not getting that treatment right now.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where he ends up, man. And, a lot of times, I guess now in free agency, you still can have a little bit of leverage for what you've done, but these teams are now projecting, and that's what they're going by. And that's a huge difference from the way that free agency used to be. I mean, if you had a banner year, a platform year, like you were going to get paid, now they're like, well, actually, this projection model has you for this, and this is what we want to pay you. And they stick by their guns, man. And you wonder, oh, what dial did you turn to get me to those projections, sir, because, I feel like I'm still a pretty dang good ball player. That's what a lot of the baseball players will say. And the teams will say, we trust our computers, which, maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. But I'm curious to see who's really actually in on Snell at this point. Barring an injury, like who are the teams still after him? We've heard the Yankees, we've heard the Phillies, and we really haven't heard anybody else. I guess the Giants a little bit.
Snell, man.
And I like to bring up a point made way long ago. Brandon Marsh, gross on purpose. Good-looking cat underneath all that stuff.
Right. Philly, that's the energy.
Yeah.
And weren't you going to tell...
I don't remember that. You got it?
He just doesn't want to be known for his charm.
Oh, my gosh. Brandon, what are you doing?
He wants to be known for his skill.
Philly,
Trev.
Dude.
He looks like Philly right there, too.
Yeah, but, turn that knob up to 11, man.
Bryson Stott's a hot boy.
If you're Trev, what you were saying about the computers and stuff before, projections, and that's how guys get paid. Imagine being Snell, a guy that pitches completely differently than everyone who's ever pitched. I'm willing to give up the walk. Your computer probably isn't gonna like me.
Dude, if you're Snell, I don't think you want the fucking opt-out shit because Max Fried's gonna be the top lefty next year, and he's gonna set the market.
Just call Bill James up and be like, oh, well, actually, if you walk someone, it's better because you might be able to strike him out the next batter.
Bill, back on his word, James.
I feel like that makes sense. The computer should understand that, but they're too stupid.
I like Bill James.
Bill, late night Friday tweet, I apologize for everything I've done.
Just a fucking news dump like you've never seen before.
I've hurt the game. Bill, we appreciate you. And we appreciate the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Dude started a cult.
Make sure you get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook. They are giving away a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bet. Tell him, Jim. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Talkin. You had it.
They've been changing them on us.
Get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Talkin. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, ages vary by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. One no-sweat bet per new customer issued on one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/promos for deposit wagering, eligibility restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
All right. Is that the app?
I think so. We got some spring training updates, some quick hitters for everyone. Ooh, Acuna underwent an MRI in his right knee on March 1st. Showed irritation around his meniscus. It's highly likely that the reigning National League MVP will be ready for opening day, though. Good news.
We're getting an update on that today. We don't have it yet.
Okay. Verlander showed up at camp 2 weeks behind because of a right shoulder issue on March 3rd. He threw 60 pitches in the bullpen. Astros remain hopeful he'll be ready for opening day. I hope not, because it's against the Yankees, but it's still timid. Josh Young. Now, his brother is Jace.
Yes. He got a little cramp in the calf, a little pulled calf. There was a video of it, actually, which is interesting.
Ooh.
Taking ground balls in the backfield, just pulled up lame.
That's a bummer.
Hate that.
Grissom status for opening day is in doubt due to a groin strain for the Red Sox. He's not played a spring training game due to the groin and hamstring issues.
Not a great start.
Manoah dealing with soreness in his throwing shoulder. Right-hander tried to throw a bullpen session on March 1st, but he stopped midway through. No structural damage. That's not good. I am rooting for him to be good. I like him as a heel. I like not liking him when the Yankees play against him.
Good call.
It's like a respect thing. When you're good, it is fun to have an adversary.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. The numbers, the nerds never liked his numbers because he doesn't throw hard and all that, but he was good. Our guy Happer, mild left hamstring strain, but he's optimistic. He's just got married. He doesn't want to do spring training.
Yeah,
too much sex.
Bored as
Case of
hell.
the Springs.
Josh Lowe, another baseball brother.
Ian Happ's laid up right now screaming.
Not expected to play for 10 to 15 days after being irritated by left hip inflammation. He said he could play, but doesn't want to risk it turning into a more severe injury. So
Spring training.
10 to 15 days is legit. That's going to push him back into
It's right on the bubble, right?
Yeah. I mean, because you want to get at bats in. So
Oh, yeah, not playing at all.
and yeah, 10 to 15 days right now, not playing at all, I think means you're missing the first week or so.
Yes.
Start on
sure.
the 10-day.
Agreed.
Christian Walker exited the D-backs Cactus League contest. Fuck's ever called a spring training game. The Cactus League contest against the Giants on February 29th after being hit in the right hand by a fastball. That stinks. He will not swing a bat or throw until the swelling goes down.
Oh, my God. James, just so you know, this continues on for many, many pages. Well, there's a lot of injuries right now in spring training.
They're all mild, though. Well, I guess it is longer than I thought. I am enjoying reading these. I don't know if you guys just want a newscaster voice me as I keep going for the people, but
Eh.
Yeah, fortunately, haven't been too many, like, oop, we lost a guy for the season type injuries.
okay.
So knocking on all the wood for
This one's
guys.
interesting to me since the Orioles already lost a pitcher, and Bradish Means is expected to not pitch in any Grapefruit League games this spring. He spent the early part of the offseason resting after an October flare-up to his surgically repaired left elbow and reported to spring training on February 14th, about a month behind other pitchers in his throwing program. Okay, so, I mean, he's out for, like, April then. That's kind of big news. Who's going to be their fifth?
Got all sorts of young, handsome guys. Who do you want to see? You want to see Cole Swervin Irvin?
Yeah.
Tyler Wells?
What is the news on Senga? I guess we could ask around the office here. Is he missing a month? He will miss opening day.
He's missing.
Yeah, he had a PRP injection.
Uh-oh.
That one was tough. Sad warehouse day for Jolly.
Mets have shut down Jeff McNeil from hitting activities due to a case of left bicep soreness. David Bednar, yet to appear in a game this spring, is dealing with right lat tightness.
On the other side, and this is making me laugh, Matt McClain, oblique, took 70 swings and some ground balls on March 1st.
70?
70. What's that
That's
about,
a lot of
Trev?
swings.
He's on a swing
Obliques
count.
for the worst, bro. Take your time, Mr. Matt McClain.
Do you know how we could land at 70? Is it like...
He might have did 50 the day before.
Yeah.
That's what.
And I'm guessing you do
just
sessions
like
of
that math.
10 or whatever, so you can just like do the math like weightlifting.
dry hacks. Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
Oh. Sounds like middle school.
I have a question. When we were talking about Kelnick and his spring training stuff, was that on an episode of this or was that on the Mariners PPP?
That was on
Or
this.
that was this and it wouldn't be
Yes,
the Mariners.
Braves are not for a little bit.
Okay, can I check in on there and then we'll go? I
I'd
want to
love
see
for
if
you
he's
to do
taken a pitch yet.
So I thought we got feedback on that.
Yeah,
those
people were
stats
saying that
don't
it's
track
wrong.
that way.
Oh,
They
we
were
did?
calling us noobs. Yeah, they only
Yeah.
track the.
Well, they called Jimmy a noob.
results. I was taking it as a team.
Oh, is it because they don't have...
They just don't put all the info in there.
Because like the Yankees... Oh, so like his next game has all the info. I get it. It's if they're on TV or not. So it's if they have the video.
I know, like specifically the Rays ballpark, they don't make it publicly available. Don't know if the Braves played there yet. For whatever reason, they're like games there Statcast doesn't get.
Trev, any spring training rules we don't know about? Like Christian Walker gets hit by a pitch. If you're a starter and you get hit by a pitch in spring training, can you just be like, "Hey, this day's over for me, fellas"?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely. If you're like,
Don't know.
if it hits you and you're like any discomfort, you're just like, hey, scrub with 88, like
Yeah.
come run for me. Best feeling in the world is the first time you get pinch run for as a big leaguer. Because you come up and you have to do the pinch running for quite some time. At least I did. Most guys have to go through that. Like you come in the game in the fifth, and some guy who like you probably don't even like that much,
Right.
like it gets on base, and you have to give him the high five as you go pinch run. He's gonna hit the showers and go to dinner, and you got to finish up the game. The field's all hard. It sucks. There's nobody in the stands anymore. But then it flips and you become the guy that gives the high five and takes it to the showers. No better feeling than that. Oh my gosh.
All right, some names to watch. Zack Veen leads all spring training with stolen bases. He's stolen 4 bases. He's been caught stealing 3 times. So he is having an adventurous spring. He's got 12 at-bats, 3 hits, no walks. So they must be pinch running him, and he's just like stealing. That's a lot of fun. So he leads in stolen bases and caught stealing. Good job.
He's running.
Owen Casey from the Cubs. He's tied with a bunch of other people in hits. He's got 8 hits. Other names you might like: Tyler Nevin, Ketel Marte, Eloy Jimenez, Elier Hernandez. Oh, Elier Hernandez leads. Oh, we got 3 triples. Same with Blaze Alexander. Obviously.
Nice. There's a couple Blazes. Isn't there a Blaze Jordan as well?
Blazing is on the way.
The Blazes and Jacksons are coming.
I like to think we led the charge on that.
Damn. James Wood from your Washington Nationals has the highest slugging of all qualified players in camp. He's got 3 home runs in 8 hits, 3 home runs.
February Florida legend.
I think we
Cole
know.
Tucker has 4 walks and 8 plate appearances. And I said, hey, man, you must be seeing the ball well. And he goes, actually, there's not that many strikes. That's tough.
Hey.
That's part of it.
I think James Wood might be on everyone's radar at the end of this year. My goodness.
And
him and Wyatt
like
Langford are the
supposed to be
guys
the
that
big
are
one,
they're
right?
banging.
Trade.
Young guys banging.
I don't know what's going on with this search, though, because Soto's not coming up.
Don't search for James Wood Google because you're not going to get James Wood the baseball player. You're gonna get James Wood the actor.
Okay.
You have to put James Wood baseball.
Can't even do MLB yet.
I do wonder if these stats only include, like, usually MLB.com spring training stats include all games, but certain players just aren't showing up, so something's going on. That's a bummer.
That's the app.
That's the app. Wyatt Langford having himself a spring. 6
He's crushing.
hits.
Trying to earn the job.
I think he's going to.
Right before opening day. Get that 8-year, $100 million contract with escalators and bullshit.
Atlanta Braves center fielder Forrest Wall with 9 RBIs, 3 homers, 6 hits, 1 walk, 1 stolen base. Way to go, Forrest.
Wants that bench gig.
Megan Thee Stallion, 9 looks at Trevor at dinner.
Ooh.
Leading the league.